And now let me bring in our correspondents, John Terrett in New York and Sun-Ye in Beijing. Hi, great to have you both on the show. So Sun-Ye, let's start with you. Of course, this summit has, global significance. What signals do you think it sent to the world?
Right, Mama, we've heard it throughout the day that the fact that this meeting has taken place is music to the ears, not only for a lot of people in the two countries, but also for the rest of the world. And China's Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, Xie Feng, had told us reporters immediately after the meeting that the talk had been candid, constructive, and productive. Take a listen.
Before the meeting, Beijing had said they hoped the virtual meeting between the two presidents could explore the way of mutual respect and peaceful coexistence in the new era to bring bilateral relations back on the right track of sound and stable development. And after the meeting, Vice Foreign Minister Xie Feng had this to say about how the wide-ranging talks had gone.
The discussions were candid, deep, constructive and productive. We believe that the helmsmanship by both heads of state is crucial for China-US relations. This meeting has pointed the way forward and injected a new impetus in China-US relations.
The two presidents had only spoken twice by phone this year. Xie said that in the 3-hour-plus meeting, China wanted the following heard.
For the two countries to get along in the new era, 3 principles must be followed. First, mutual respect. The two countries need to respect each other's social systems and development paths, respect each other's core interests and major concerns, and respect each other's right to development. They need to treat each other as equals, keep differences under control, and seek common ground while managing differences. Second, peaceful coexistence. No conflict and no confrontation is a line that both sides must hold. Third, win-win cooperation. The world is big enough for the two countries to develop individually and jointly. The right thing to do is to choose mutual benefit over zero-sum games.
Xie also made a special point on Taiwan.
President Xi Jinping said clearly in the meeting that the One China principle and the 3 China-US joint communiques are the political foundation of China-US relations. We are sincere when we say we are striving for peaceful reunification. That said, should the Taiwan separatist forces provoke us or cross the red line, we will be compelled to take resolute measures. President Biden had also reaffirmed that the U.S. stands by the One China policy and does not support the Taiwan separatists.
Well, Mama, the last time when President Xi Jinping talked with President Biden, President Xi had said the China-US relation had run into serious difficulties, and the two sides had no choice but to work out how to remedy that. And last week, President Xi Jinping said in a letter that China-US ties are at a crucial historical moment, underscoring Beijing's readiness to follow the principles of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation, and work with Washington, which we also heard again today. And as the results of this November meeting sink in, we do have reasons to hope for the better. Mama.
Yeah, now let's get the latest from John. We know that the summit between the two leaders went on longer than expected and stretched well into midnight in Washington. What is the reaction in the U.S. to the talks?
Hey, Wang Wang Wang. Well, they do say there's a phrase in English that goes, a picture paints 1,000 words. You may have heard that. And I think that that's what we have seen in the last 12 hours here. And just look at President Xi's opening statement. It may have been a virtual video type conference or summit, but the first thing he said was, it's better to meet Mr. President in person. But he said, this will do. This is all right, he said. And then he said, it's good to see an old friend. And I think the very fact that he said that, and we saw them certainly in the early stages of that summit talking in a friendly way, was very reassuring to many people. You're quite right. They talked for much longer than we thought. It was at least 3 hours, this conversation. There were no breakthroughs there. There were no major announcements from either side afterwards. And the way it's being reported here is that this was sort of nudging things along a little bit. And I think I said to you on the program yesterday, it's a bit like the parents in the room trying to put right what all the unruly underlings have been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. That's the way to think about this. Now, America is a very, very political society, as you know, and Biden is accused of being too soft on President Xi. For example, they did not discuss the origins of COVID-19, which many people here wanted them to, and nor did they discuss the issue of the Olympic Games coming up next year. And Biden is under some pressure in this country to boycott those Olympic Games, though I personally think that is probably unlikely. They did talk about Taiwan, Hong Kong, Xinjiang, South China Sea, Afghanistan and Iran. On the issue of Taiwan, Biden urged President Xi to maintain the status quo, and as you heard in the previous report, he supports the one China policy, but he does not support unilateral attempts to try and change that. President Xi making headlines here for apparently saying those who play with fire get burned when he was talking about Taiwan. Though I do think talk of war between the two countries has ebbed because of this. We've now entered an era of friendly competition, with President Biden talking about common sense guardrails regarding China policy and saying that all countries must abide by the same rules of the road. For his part, President Xi saying, please respect our domestic choices when it comes to things like Taiwan and human rights. Finally, Wang Mengmeng, will things change? Well, I think it's probably a bit too early to say for certain. America certainly put a statement out afterwards saying that they don't want to change the China system, but President Xi is not bending in any way on some of the big issues that really divide them, such as technology transfers and human rights. So we will just have to wait to see, but I think it's probably a good start, don't you?
Yeah, at least the two leaders are talking. Thank you so much, John Terrett for us in New York and Sun Ye for us in Beijing.